Look what Cliffe Knechtle says about pain and suffering.
All right, the reason, if you don't have a church home, that you should make this church your church home is because this man and his wife lost a child. Now, friends, that's the most intense pain that I think we as human beings can go through. You lose a child and you are in agony, total agony. And you don't get over it either. It's not like you can forget that, okay? So, when you confront suffering, you're having to go down to the depth of your soul, of your personhood, as you know too well, Ed.
Yes.
And you either come out bitter, angry against God, or else you submit to God and say, Lord, I don't know why you allowed it to happen, and it hurts like blazes. Remember, I do not know why you allowed it to happen. That is the first place to start when it comes to the problem of suffering.
So good.
And if anybody thinks that they can give a watertight answer to the problem of suffering, they are intellectually naive. You can't. Second point, the book of Genesis records God created this and God saw that it was good, and God created that and God saw that it was good. And the little phrase, God saw that it was good, is repeated and repeated and repeated. So the point is clear. When God created, He did a good job. He did not create evil, injustice, suffering, and death. But in Genesis chapter 3, we read how human beings rebelled against God. That's where the train got off the track. That's where the arrow missed the mark. So if you think you're born into a fair world, you've been smoking something I don't want to smoke, because it's not fair. And down deep, you know that. One of the main points of the book of Job is, life is unfair. God is fair. Don't get the two mixed up. Remember, you're not born into a fair world. You're born into an unfair world. When you suffer, don't blame God. It's not God's doing. Next point. When God became a human being, He had a really cushy, comfortable life, didn't He? No. He was poor. He was kicked around. And ultimately, He got His teeth kicked in as He's nailed to a cross. This is a God who you and I can connect to in our suffering.